That's right. I'm back from RetroWorld Expo 2018. It was a great time, and I wanted to do a little recap of the convention, and also, I want to talk about my pickups, and one in particular has a crazy backstory. Well, maybe not so crazy, but to me it's crazy, just the way it sort of appeared to me, but I'll save that for later. Make sure you watch all the way to the end. But let's talk about RetroWorld Expo. This is my second year attending RetroWorld Expo in Connecticut. Great time. I'm not surprised. It's a super clean and organized and structured convention. Everything works the way it's supposed to. Everything is well planned. It was just a great time overall. And not just because I got a table to set up. And not just because I had a panel, which was also great.
Oh gosh. Hey Jackie!
What inspired you to make this TV show?
When I was young, I always liked cartoon. I really hope someday I want to be a cartoon character. Cartoon can do all kinds of things I cannot do in my real life. After so many years later, the people, the children, still can remember me. Today, my dream come true. I love cartoon.
He loves cartoon. We got Jackie Chan Adventures. That's right.
It was all about meeting you. I had a chance to meet some awesome people throughout the weekend. I was honestly taken back by how many people came up that were supporters of the show and people who love Digitally Distracted and watch the videos and the reviews and, of course, the Fammy Corner, the fans of the Fammy. The Fammy fans, as they will for henceforth be known.
More importantly, I lose prototype for the M2 technology for the M2. That's nice, where they blew out of that.
But also getting to see old friends like Norm, the gaming historian, and the old punk, that old punk Patrick, and of course Corey and Try, and Derek from Stop Skeletons from Fighting, and Dexter, and there was just so many people that I got to talk to and hang out with, and I couldn't possibly list all of them. And those of you who I haven't mentioned, don't worry, I'm thinking of you right now. I am. Like my booth buddy. Yes, my first time meeting him. Great guy. Great freaking guy. What a nice fella. He even helped carry some things when I needed assistance, because, you know, small arms. Small arms. Stretch it out. Stretch it out. All right. So I hit start, and then it'll count down?
Yeah. Now you have an advantage, because I'm already a little tired from...
We did carry. We also carried. Oh, you just did it?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Shake it out.
Twice. You're gonna win for sure.
Oh, no! What?
Oh, yes,
The single finger technique is
Did you get it? Woo! No.
Well, you know. And you might even notice, look at what a nice shirt. Bam! That's right, pretty good. From the front and then, bam! My good buddy Daniel Greenberg, the one and only professor of video game history. It was great to see Dan and Alex. I see them almost every convention I go to here on the East Coast. Great people. And Dan was like, hey, got a shirt for you. Ion Gaming, in your face and on your chest. And I finally tried it on today. Holy moly, this thing is super comfortable. Like, it fits my unusual potato body so perfectly and is so comfortable. I love it. Thanks, Dan. If you're watching this, let me know in the comments. Thank you, Dan. There were the Mortal Kombat guys were there. Of course, you had Johnny Cage and Scorpion. Same guy. Daniel Pacino. Kano was there. Nightwolf was there. What? Kung Lao was there? Now, Kung Lao, let me tell you. The first time I saw Kung Lao, I was like, this guy is still shredded. This guy looks exactly the same as he did when he played Kung Lao in Mortal Kombat. It's crazy. And he knew it because he would always wear, like, the deepest of Vs. The deepest V-cut jackets. Yes, V-cut jackets I think he was wearing. A puffy V-cut jacket. Chesticles were out for everyone to see and enjoy. Now, real quick, I want to talk about the panel that I did a Jackie Chan panel. Of course, I am very highly qualified to discuss Jackie Chan and Jackie Chan video games. So I did Jackie Chan's video game journey with Game Dave. That's me. It went really well. Everything went smoothly, and it went so smoothly, in fact, that my goal is to edit it together and post it publicly for your consumption. Those of you who couldn't make it, you're going to get a chance to watch what goes down at a Game Dave panel. It's not what you'd expect, maybe. So hype machine, get hype for it. My first ever publicly released panel video. We got some good angles, hopefully, and it'll edit together nicely. We'll find out when I look at the footage later this week. Yay! Yay! But now let's get back to the Retro World event itself. Last year at Retro World, I bought nothing. I bought nothing. That's not like me. And Try from My Life in Gaming is like, Dave, you know you gotta buy something. You know you gotta buy something this year. And of course, I did. And the first item actually comes via Try. This was Kirby's Dream Land 3. It was the only Kirby game I didn't have. I have all the other Kirby games except Kirby's Dream Land 3. Because it's kind of expensive now. But that's not it. Now let's get into the stuff that I purchased at the actual convention. Where to start? Now this one I picked up simply because I gotta get the stickers off of these things. This one I picked up specifically because in my panel I talk about this game. This right here is Jackie Chan. That's Jackie Chan. This game is Spartan X. Spartan X. And it stars Jackie Chan. It's actually Kung Fu. This is the black box game Kung Fu before it came over here as Kung Fu. It's called Spartan X over there, which, go figure, the main character in Kung Fu is technically Jackie Chan's character from Wheels on Meals. Meals on Wheels. Wheels on Meals. So there you go. Thomas. Good old Mad Gear is always available. Their table always has nothing but imports. And I picked up this gem, King Kong 2. King Kong 2. There is no King Kong 1 because King Kong 2 is technically the sequel to the movie. Only on the Famicom, I guess. And you play as King Kong, and it's a very, very, very hard top-down action game. It's pretty intense. Action platformer, you might call it. Future Famicorner, perhaps? Yes, perhaps. Here's the thing. I bought this game because it was complete. And, you know, I got a deal on it, which was nice. I got a little deal, so that's not the price I paid. And it was complete, in box, so I figured I should pick it up. Knowing that at home, I was like, I have King Kong 2, but I believe it's just the cartridge. So I'll pick this up, so I have a complete copy, so that on the show, I can show the box and the manual, and really give you that complete review of this on Famicorner. Well, guess what? I get home, and I already freaking had it. I already had it boxed. So now I've got a backup box. I mean, this box is a little bit rough. It's a little rough. So I guess this one's slightly better. I don't know. A couple other import things that I picked up. Right here. This one I just picked up because it looked like it was like mint condition. Dungeon Kid. Dungeon Kid. I don't know anything about this game, but I will soon because I bought it. You have an Eye of the Beholder sort of POV perspective, and there's a third person like traditional RPG style. Hopefully there's a translation patch. If not, it's just a fun little thing to put on the shelf. Whoops. Sorry, one more import I picked up. Not very exciting. Super Mario Kart. Now, Game Dave, Super Mario Kart came out in America. Why would you want the Japanese version of Super Mario Kart, you ding-dong dilly-doo-doo, boo-poo, boo-boo-boo? Because this one has a slightly different animation set to the sprites when you win the races. For example, Peach actually throws back some champagne. She doesn't just throw it up, she's like getting into it and getting all red-faced from the alcohol. So that's why I bought it. Is that a dumb reason? Here's a little pickup. This one, thanks to My Life in Gaming, they turned me on to this game. James Bond 007 on the Game Boy. Awesome game. Very much worth checking out. And Game Boy has a lot to do with the one game I couldn't get. I could have gotten it, but I didn't get it, and I should have, maybe? We'll talk about that soon. Ooh, burns me up. This was a fun little quickie pickup. The Collector's CD, the Squaresoft PlayStation demo disc. It's got the Final Fantasy VII demo, Bushido Blade, Final Fantasy Tactics, Saga Frontier, Einhinder Squaresoft sort of demo disc. And it even has the original game offer card. I'm covering the address on there. This is sealed, never been opened. Here's a random NES game I picked up. Now, those of you who are the hardcore fans that are in the Digitally Distracted Club, you know I love Bigfoot on the NES, so why not pick up Monster Truck Rally? This is a game I've wanted to get for a while, and it's got the instruction manual. So it was a great price. Made a deal, though, and see that? 4-player game. I'm always on the lookout for 4-player games on the NES because there's not that many and they don't get talked about. This may very well be a future review if I ever get back into discussions on the NES. The Immortal! The Immortal! You're a mighty wizard in search of your lost master, Mordemir. Venture into the dungeon and solve the mysteries of each level. Unravel the secrets of the Immortal. Dragons, wizards, Electronic Arts, and it was only 10 bucks. Complete. 10 bucks complete? Yeah, I'll get a boxed NES game for 10 bucks. Of course I will. The Immortal! I love wizards. I just couldn't, I mean, I have plenty of controllers, but you can't pass up $5 for a very great, very good condition. I would say this is very great condition. NES controller. No yellowing, not dirty, the buttons feel, like brand new. $5, so I picked up both of the ones that they had, and then I saw this thing in the same booth. What? Look at this. Oh, that's loud. That's a loud bag. This is called the Zipper. It has that Famicom-style sort of ridge on the outside. It's this bright yellow color. It's a little bit wider than a traditional NES controller, but it feels good. It feels good in the hand, little rounded edges. It's got turbo. Got the turbo cranks in it. This one right here. This one you might be like, oh, way to pick up Wii Shovelware, brand new. Didn't pay that price for it. Because you know me, I never pay full price at a convention. No, I'm always making deals. This is interesting. It's 101 in one party Mega Mix. But here's the thing. Atlas. This is made by Atlas. Atlas? 101 in one party games by Atlas? We might need to stream this. That might be a fun game to stream. And you can play solo. Don't need a group of 4. And the last pickup. The regular game picks-ups. Radiata Stories. This was a really good condition, like almost mint condition. Radiata Stories. Complete. You know, square game. And I heard from my boy Try that this is very good. And this is what appealed to me. Convince over 175 brave souls to risk life and limb for your cause. Suikoden, anyone? Suikoden? Yeah, kind of reminds me of Suikoden a little bit. The idea of collecting, you know, brave souls, brave stars of destiny, in fact. Meet all sorts of eccentric characters along your journey. Very excited to try this out. Not so much games. And then I'll talk about the one thing that I couldn't get. I couldn't get. So I was sitting at my booth, the Game Dave booth. If I can remember, I'll put a picture up. I was sitting at my booth, and somebody drops by, two nice fellas, and they say, so Game Dave, I understand you got some D. What? Heard you got some D. I got some more D for you if you want it. I was like, what? I was like, from the Game Chasers when I got the D case? I was like, I got the case, I didn't get the game. They're like, well, we got something for you. Boom. Boom. This was from Glossed Over. So what they do, they had a booth set up, and they find prints from magazines. Magazine ads, mint magazine pulls, and they took the D advertisement, laminated it for me. Isn't that awesome? But because they were so nice to give me this D, to give me the D, wink. If you haven't seen that Game Chasers episode, check it out that I appeared in. But they had a bunch of other cool ones that I had to pick up. So Final Fantasy 1 and 2, Dawn of Souls, some great artwork. And of course, Final Fantasy, boom, we got Midgar. Midgar, that was a sweet double paged magazine print. We got Cloud. Yes, coming to a screen near you. Final Fantasy 7. Game Boy games, the Final Fantasy Legend and Adventure. That was a cool advertisement for all 4 of those Game Boy games. Final Fantasy Origins to go along with Dawn of Souls. Final Fantasy Origins, this is the first time that I had a chance to play Final Fantasy II, was through the PlayStation release of Final Fantasy Origins, so this was a really cool one to pick up. Boom! Final Fantasy III, aka Final Fantasy VI advertising. We got Mog down there and some of the delicious monsters. How cool is that? Very cool. That's it! That's it. But now the story. When I was looking at some of the games, I was going through, I think it was actually, not when I got James Bond, but when I got Radiata Stories. The same seller had a glass case. They always have these glass cases where they show off the best of the best, their big, pricey, rare items. And I wasn't really thinking much about it. I was looking through, they didn't have prices on them, so I was like, maybe these aren't super expensive games. I'm looking through, and I see a Game Boy game at the bottom. And I just keep looking at it, I'm like, what? Something about that game. And it was in a case, clamshell, so I couldn't see it super well. It was a little yellowed, and there was a Sumo Fighter on it. Okay, a sumo wrestler. And I'm thinking, I was like, oh, that's interesting, whatever. I started looking around again, and then in the back of my mind, I'm like, Dave, go back and look at that. And I look at it, and it is Sumo Fighter. I had that game, and it was one of my favorite games on the original Game Boy when I was a kid. And I was trying to think, like, I don't have that game in my collection anymore, and I don't remember getting rid of our Game Boy games as kids, but a couple of our Game Boy games just disappeared. One of which, Belmont's Revenge on the Game Boy, was one that I remember having. I played it, I talked about that before on the channel. It was such a frustrating game, but I loved it. That game is nowhere to be found, and neither is Sumo Fighter. And I loved the game. It had this amazing soundtrack, this oriental sort of fusion style. It was so good. So good. The graphics were really good. And this wasn't just sumo wrestling. Okay, you're not just a sumo fighter in sumo wrestling matches. No, no, no. This is an action platformer as a sumo wrestler. You're going through, you're palming people in the face and destroying people. There's weird enemies, like there's little weird tiny guys that spin around. There's these long-necked creature geishas that will come at you. And then at the end of the stage, you'll be like, ooh, ooh, ooh. You know, classic sumo maneuver. And that's also your special power to freeze people and, I think, knock them out. I think that's what you would do. But I hadn't thought about that game since I was a kid. Sumo Fighter. And I was like, can I look at Sumo Fighter? I was getting super excited. Pulls it out. He's like, yeah, it's a little yellow. He opens up this clamshell case. Death came out of this clamshell case for this Game Boy game. Disgusting. It was yellowed, and it was not even yellowed, it was browned inside. It was disgusting on the back. The label was tearing and peeling up. I was like, man, it's in such bad condition. But, you know, curiosity killed the game, Dave. How much for it? He's like, can't go any lower than 45 on it. Say what? $45 for that? He's like, yeah, 45, it's pretty firm, but, you know, I dropped some money off because of the peeling label. That's the discount just because of the peeling label, not the poop stains and dirtiness. The slightly peeled label drops it all the way down to the low price of $45 for a loose Game Boy cartridge? What? What? So I couldn't. My nostalgia would not allow me to get such a poorly cared for copy of this game. I looked around the rest of the weekend, checking games. Every time I saw Game Boy games, not a lot of Game Boy games at this convention. Nothing. Couldn't find it. That's when I found, actually, James Bond 007, I think, is when I was searching for Sumo Fighter. I was like, oh, $5? Absolutely, I'll pick that up. Never found another copy. Towards the end of the convention Sunday, I checked eBay. Very few auctions on eBay. Very few were in good condition. Apparently, this game from my childhood is somewhat uncommon and rare now. Very expensive, like almost every single one was like $45 to $55, maybe $60, and none of them were in good condition. My beautiful people out there, if you know where I can get a good condition copy of Sumo Fighter for the original Game Boy, let me know. Send me a message. Email me, nextgamedave@gmail.com. Tweet me, nextgamedave, on Twitter. Find me on Facebook, GameDave. Here, comment. In the comments, Game Dave, please, help me out. I need to find a copy of Sumo Fighter, because if I do, it is absolutely going to be my very first full-featured Game Boy review. And who knows, this might spark future Game Boy game reviews on the channel, because I have such a connection to this game. I'll get more into that if I ever get a copy of it and I can review it. It has to do with my father, sumo wrestling, martial arts, and this game, my brother. Yeah, I saw my brother yesterday and I mentioned it to him, and he was like, oh my gosh, I remember that game Sumo Fighter where you went by, and he was like, oh yeah. And it had these cool mini games in it where you would like arm wrestle dudes and freaking thumb wrestling. Oh, Sumo Fighter. It is not worth me emulating. I will find it, I will get it, it will be in good condition, and I won't break the bank, right? Hopefully, with your help. So, that's gonna do it for RetroWorld Expo. Again, if, you know, all the people I got to see at RetroWorld, I love all of you. I know I didn't name everybody's name because it would be such a long list. It'd be crazy. I mean, there were so many people I saw. If I saw you at RetroWorld Expo, please leave a comment in the comments. It's where they go. And I will be watching the comments, and I would love to see that I saw you. Just let me know in the comments. And I know there's other people out there. I met Pam finally, and Rebel Gaming Club was there. Just so many people that I'd love to, you know, remember and reminisce with. So, thank you all so much for watching. And remember, as always, find Sumo Fighter. And also, stay digitally distracted, alright? Go play with the zipper.